Why does everyone have plastic surgery now? Plastic surgery used to be taboo and something only Hollywood celebrities or the ultra-rich took part in. Then the influencers get into it and it starts to become less of a shock factor, and then there's less stigma around it. Now I can understand if an influencer, especially a beauty influencer, gets plastic surgery because their job requires them to be beautiful and to have millions of people watching them all the time. But it kind of jump scared me the minute I realized that now it's no longer just influencers, creators, celebrities, and public figures who undergo cosmetic procedures. It's now so normalized that you don't even bat an eye when there's a random aesthetic clinic in your neighborhood plaza beside mom and pop restaurants. Like, it's as normal as seeing a nail salon. And now all the commoners as in regular schmegular people like you and me who don't post, who don't have a significant online presence, people you grew up with or went to school with or work with who live regular lives, who don't have millions of people looking at or commenting on their face, are now all pumping their faces up with goo or undergoing surgery and a lengthy healing process, all in the name of beauty. So that kind of came as a shock to me. I didn't want to talk about this, guys. I really didn't. But it gets to a point. I just think things are getting a little out of hand and it's time for us girls to talk about it. Hi guys, my name is Barry, and if you're new here, welcome to the channel where I talk about women's problems and our experiences growing up in a digital age, like shopping addiction, capitalism, the crooked wellness industry, and I feel like I can't just talk about overconsumption and the grip social media has on our throat without also talking about plastic surgery and the whole umbrella of beauty procedures, products, trends, and unattainable, ever-changing beauty standards that big pharma, capitalism, and society has shoved down our throats. So let's dive right into it. How the fuck did this happen? And how did we get here? I think that we have been a little bit or a lot brainwashed. By who? By society. Into thinking that we're fugly bags of shit. We're gaslit into thinking that the way we were born is a problem. I read a really great Substack essay the other day written by Father Kareen, and she likened the way the beauty industry treats your face is like a beat up Chevy, something that needs to be fixed and fine-tuned. The essay is titled The Anti-Cosmetic Surgery Essay Every Woman Should Read, which I will link in the description. I highly recommend giving it a read, and I also want to say she's a really great writer, she's really funny, and I actually got a lot of inspiration for this video from this essay. And based on personal experience, I also believe that we were gaslit into believing that a woman is only as valuable as how pretty her face is and how sexy her body is. Which sounds really rough, I know, and nobody's ever going to say this out loud like I just did, because that was a lot.
That was a lot, Robin.
And you're probably never going to hear those words come out of someone's mouth, but I feel like everyone kind of expresses it covertly, at least to some degree. Essentially, we're gaslit into thinking that physical appearance and beauty and perfection is of utmost importance and priority for women and will pave the way to success and social esteem. In other words, your life will improve if you put in the effort and work to look prettier. People will like you more if you're prettier. You will be loved if you look prettier. Now let's talk about why. Why the gaslighting? Why the brainwashing? The most obvious reason would be because this is an infinite money hack for the beauty industry. Not to say that beauty companies themselves are evil or a scam, but rather they participate in an industry built on a self-perpetuating cycle of manufactured dissatisfaction. Making women insecure and yearning to be beautiful is the perfect profit model because there will be a never-ending demand. And let me explain. I think it's no surprise with all the beautiful models and influencers we see online that there's a little bit of a crazy beauty standard out there. Some would even say impossible. To be thin, but not too thin, have big eyes, small face.
You have big eyes, small face. I like it. What's your WeChat?
A tiny button nose, big, full lips, snatched teeny tiny waist, long legs, huge badonkadonk, voluptuous behind, no wrinkles, smooth, blemish-free skin, long, voluminous, silky hair. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. The bottom line is that there's always something that needs to be fixed. And these companies and clinics have the cure. They have the perfect solution, which includes plastic surgery, Botox, makeup, skincare, pharmaceuticals, spray tans, veneers, hair removal, hair treatments, manicures, facials. Now, if all of that is not enough to make you beautiful, don't worry about it. There's always going to be another new service or another new product to help you become more beautiful. They sell you solutions to close the gap between you and the you could be. And then they make you think that every treatment or every product you buy will get you a little bit closer to the perfect you. And what's interesting is that even if you do fix everything that they tell you is wrong with you and you become the perfect beauty and you meet the beauty standard, surprise, after a little bit of a time, your facial features aren't trendy anymore. And then there's new trends now thanks to social media, because we know that the turnover rate for trends on social media is streamlined and things come in and out of trends very, very quickly. Or a little bit of time passes, you age, and then now you look old. Oop, there it is. You failed again. But don't worry, there's always another treatment to make you look younger and less you. And the system is purposely designed this way to make you fail, to keep you on a hamster wheel of low self-worth so that you keep trying and trying and buying and buying. Because if your problem was ever actually solved for good, you wouldn't keep coming back and buying more. So I think it's no surprise that these companies are exploiting us for our insecurities, but I do think it goes a little bit deeper than that, because it's not just beauty companies are enforcing the beauty standard on us. It's mainly society. There are a lot of social factors that keep the system up and running. The beauty standard is designed to keep us women distracted and oppressed. A lot of us are trained to keep policing ourselves and reevaluating our faces to figure out what else we can improve, what else we can enhance. And we're so brainwashed to become perfect that a lot of us are willing to sacrifice our time, attention, finances, essentially all the resources that we have in the pursuit to be beautiful. And as a result, you stay distracted, you're unaware, and therefore unable to even question the manipulation and why you even have these feelings in the first place. And when you're distracted, it keeps you from forming deeper thoughts, healthy and meaningful relationship with yourself and others, and from focusing on your career and education. So I did a lot of reading on this topic, so it is a little heavy. One prominent philosopher in this topic is Sandra Lee Bartke, a professor in philosophy and gender studies. And according to her, beauty standards encourage women to take up less physical and social space, be pretty rather than authoritative, and experience their bodies as objects for others. Beauty discipline, a term used to describe the dedicated practice, routine, and mindset to achieve and maintain aesthetic goals, supports patriarchal power by shaping women into subjects that are self-doubting, appearance-focused, and less able to act freely and confidently in the world. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that kind of hit the nail on the head for me, because growing up, when I had no other mentors or role models other than the internet, I spent a significant amount of my life doubting myself and grueling over my appearance and not knowing what confidence was. And now it kind of makes sense. Like, just growing up, you already see how beautiful people are rewarded more than non-conventionally beautiful people. And I think for a young teenage woman, that's already enough motivation to make you want to become beautiful so you can also be loved. Because when you're young, it's pretty common to feel insecure and look for validation from outside sources and other people. And that was just something I never really thought of, that it's sometimes not even the beauty that we want, it's the pretty privilege that comes with it. It's the way people will treat us if we are beautiful. Like, we just want what being pretty does for us socially. And that's the very interesting thing, is that a lot of the influence is rooted in social factors. And because women are always compared to the beauty standard, I think it's no surprise that a big percentage of people suffering from EDs and depression are young women. Bartke likens the social beauty standard to a psychological experience of oppression because one's self-image and behavior are shaped by larger social structures. Beauty standards didn't just spawn naturally, but they have changed across time and culture. They differ by race, class, and historical moments. Like trends, they're taught, reinforced, and normalized by social institutions like media, fashion, advertising, social media. They vary by country. For example, Asian beauty standards and Western beauty standards are very different, but the psychological and social effects are relatively the same. The beauty standard is a very powerful force because it's a social force. No single person or institution or company is forcing women to conform, but we as a society, everyone participates in it and regularly enforces the norms. The rewards of conforming to the beauty standard are social, approval, desirability, safety, and so are the punishments, shame, exclusion, and ridicule. Compliance feels voluntary because resistance is costly. Women support women, but it's just girls gassing each other up about whatever procedures they just got to look more beautiful. Like, is this really women support women, or is this harmful behavior? Because it disguises social pressure as a personal choice. On the surface, a woman deciding to artificially alter their appearance seems more like a personal decision and often not as a result of the silent coercion and brainwashing of big pharma and capitalism culture. It's often portrayed as empowering, luxury, and self-care, and not an expensive, life-altering regimen that we're bullied into wanting. And before you say, oh, no one is forcing us, let's not forget that pretty privilege is very real. I think we all know beautiful people are treated better and are awarded more opportunities and praise, whether you like to admit it or not. Another interesting thing about this is that the system relies on women to be passive about this and never criticize the system in any way. Because whenever someone speaks up against this, everyone's like, oh, mind your business. You're just jealous. Let people live. It's their choice, their body. It has nothing to do with you. Let people enjoy things, which is a fair argument, right? Like, I used to be one of those people in the comments fighting for my life, defending other girls who want to do whatever with their life. Let them live. What's it to ya? How is that any of your business? So I totally get it. But now that I think about it a little bit more, like, yes, let people live their life, but also, is it not a little bit sad and a little bit heartbreaking that people felt so ugly and so self-conscious that they felt like they had to take really extreme measures to feel a little bit better about themselves? What if your mom one day told you that she wanted plastic surgery? Or what if your daughter said that? Because I would be so heartbroken if I ever heard that from my family. So I can't really imagine how my mom would feel if I ever said that I wanted to get surgery done because my face made me look sad. Like that, I don't know. That's just kind of messed up. And I feel like nobody really talks about that. Nobody really even thinks that far before getting things done and changing their appearance. All of this is just so psychologically taxing. Unfortunately, because we live in a beauty-dominated culture, a lot of young women, including myself growing up, constantly police their appearance. We look at our faces as if they're project and not identities. Aging feels like a personal failure, which is crazy. Like, the amount of girls I know, myself included, who fear aging is kind of crazy. Like, why do we fear aging, you guys? As if it's not a blessing and a gift to live that long, because not everyone is so lucky, right? Instead of just living life fully, you start managing your lifestyle, the way you eat, you know, dieting, exercise. I'm gonna be very honest here. I sleep on my back. I never let myself sleep on my side because I heard that sleeping on the side can like push on your face and like cause wrinkles. So I sleep on my back because I don't want to get Botox and fillers to look younger because I'm scared. But I'm still taking like precautions. You know what I mean? This is why I'm making the video, by the way, because this is just how I feel. I'm also very affected by all of this. Okay, this is not a I'm holier than thou type of thing. We're all out here going through it. But yeah, like, doesn't it kind of feel like your face becomes something you need to edit or optimize, and not just a face that communicates to other humans when you're happy or sad or mad or stressed? And when you're so focused on looking perfect and beautiful, I don't know about you guys, but I start to feel like so much anxiety, especially when I go out and I don't wear makeup, because I always do my makeup when I'm recording videos. I've never posted myself. Well, actually, I've done like makeup transitions where I have, but like, I find it absolutely terrifying terrifying for people to see the morning version of myself when I just wake up and I have crazy hair and my face is crazy oily. And I kid you not, there was a period in my life where I was so insecure with my face, like without makeup. One time I slept over at a friend's place, and then I remember waking up at 7 a.m. way before everyone else woke up. Like they're all dead asleep. And then I put on a full face of makeup just so like I could look beautiful, just so I could feel better about myself. And they kind of assumed that I just woke up like that. But no, like there was so much stress. I just could not handle being perceived as anything less than beautiful in front of those friends, which is crazy because like why was I, who cares? Like it's instilled in us from a young age that beauty is capital. Like I feel like we are taught that beauty is everything, right? Which is what I believed back then. Especially, okay, I don't know about you guys. I love to read webtoons and manhwa, shoujo animes, K-dramas. You know, the ones where the female lead is the most beautiful girl in the show and she always triumphs in the end, you know, gets her prince charming and everything. I'm sure we all want to live that life and be the main character. And why are all the girl shows even like this? Can we please have a drama where the female lead is chopped and there's side characters that are more pretty than her, but she still lives a good life and triumphs and wins her prince charming in the end? Can we please have one of those? And also, why are the villains always chopped or less pretty? Like I kind of hate that. There's also evil pretty people out there. Anyways, I'm straying way too far from my script that I wrote last night at 4 a.m. We're also taught that aging is a big fat L, which like be for real, like on what planet is living a longer life a bad thing? We are taught that, again, our value depends on attractiveness, how beautiful we are, as if other qualities like being hardworking, being compassionate, honest, having strong moral compass, leadership skills, any other skills, everything else doesn't matter. Okay, so let's talk about why all of this is so dangerous. Because we can never win and we can never be beautiful, we also don't know when to stop. Now, plastic surgery is, I think, the most extreme beauty intervention that exists so far. And what's interesting is that it used to be for like traumatic injuries like burn patients, or when people get disfigured in really bad injuries, for rare serious interventions. And people were very cautious about this and never did surgeries unless it was absolutely or medically necessary. By the way, when I say plastic surgery, let's just use it as an encompassing term for injections as well, because I feel like that's also invasive, maybe a little bit less, but still something's going into your body. Plastic surgery or beauty procedures are now marketed as preventative. That kind of just makes it sound like aging is a sickness, which is crazy. It's marketed as routine. I'm sure we've seen those self-care Sunday vlogs where an aesthetic clinic is like part of a routine. It's also convenient. You can just drop by during your lunch break for a quick little filler appointment, for a quick little Botox top up. Like these appointments are almost seen as normal as like getting your nails done. You can just drop by every couple of weeks or every couple of months. It's just aesthetic maintenance rather than a one-time thing. Now it's very normal to drop tens of thousands of dollars to take drastic measures and get injected again and again and again with mystery goo that we don't even know that much about. Now it's normal to get cut up and stitched up and bruised and swollen and left bedridden for weeks to recover, all in the name of looking beautiful for a period of time. So I'm seeing a lot of these kinds of videos online, you know, just transformation before and after, and nothing, no words said in between. And the video is mostly just shock value and showing you like the glow up. And I think she's so beautiful before and after, but she just looks really different. Like, who am I to say what looks good and what looks bad? Like, if you should or if you shouldn't get plastic surgery, like that's not my place to comment. But I will say that I do find it kind of sad in the beginning of the vid when she's doing all these like gestures, motioning all the changes that she wants to do on her face. I'm guessing that's a lot of changes. That's almost a brand new face and identity, I would argue. And of course, with any plastic surgery TikTok, there's always gonna be someone in the comments going like, no, but she was so pretty and cute before. Beauty is subjective, and obviously some people might like individuality and unique features over, you know, whatever the current trending beauty standard is. It's all just preference, I guess, but when you make this big of a change, I can't help but wonder if it does something to your identity. Like, do you ever miss your own features passed down from your parents, your loved ones? Because I always thought about it like this. This is kind of sad to say, and I don't want to jinx anything, but when I'm like 60, I don't know if I'm going to be lucky around to have my parents still around with me. But if they're not, I feel like my face, you know, with my parents' features passed down to me would be kind of like a permanent souvenir and help me remember them even in my old age. So I don't know, like, do they ever miss it? Because your face is also a very like sentimental thing, no?
My lovely patient felt self-conscious that her face lacked feminine proportions and harmony, and she wanted to optimize her natural beauty and accentuate her eyes and lips while maintaining her strong ethnic features. Specifically, she felt that her jaw and chin were oversized and gave her face a square, bottom-heavy appearance. She also had 2 prior open rhinoplasties done elsewhere and had persistent breathing problems, and her tip had remained rounded, drooped, and lacking lift and definition. On my aesthetic analysis, I noted her large jaw structure could be effectively treated with V-line jaw and chin slimming, a scarless technique to remove the bottom segment of the jaw. This created a gentle
Wait, what? In my aesthetic analysis, I noted her large jaw structure could be effectively treated by V-line jaw and chin slimming. Why are they acting like our normal facial features are pathology, are problems that need fixing? Like it's an illness, like it's a condition that we need to heal from. Like why did that have to sound so medical? Almost as if he's a doctor prescribing us beauty medicine, beauty treatment to cure our illness of being fugly bags of shit. A lot of these TikToks I see online makes these procedures look low risk, easily reversible, almost like you're just casually editing your video game avatar and changing your Sims character hair, skin color, eye shape. And all these videos kind of show it in like a emotionally empowering, freeing yourself from the chains of being fugly and chopped. But the reality is all surgeries have some degree of risk. Fillers migrate, Botox accumulates. Maybe your surgery might not go exactly the way you plan it to because we just don't know like how the body will heal. Like we don't really have control over how our cells decide to heal or react to these procedures and substances. There's always a possibility that it might not turn out the way you want it to. You might not like the results, and I can't even imagine like what the psychological effects of that would bring.
Recovering from a revision rhinoplasty and revision double eyelid surgery. Honestly, I really wanted to hide this from y'all and just come back and slay because yeah, plastic surgery is a super personal decision and journey. But I do want to share my experience with you so you can use me as a resource or a cautionary tale. Okay, so this is me right now, 10 days after my procedure. My stitches are out, but I'm still super swollen. Like I literally look like a Muppet. But let's actually rewind to the beginning. So a few years ago, I went to Korea and I got double eyelid surgery and rhinoplasty. I wouldn't say that I was completely botched, but I definitely wasn't happy with my results, especially my rhinoplasty. It ended up giving me breathing issues where I was only able to breathe out of one nostril. They also cut my eyelid creases way too high and my eyes looked always swollen and unnatural. Okay, so this is me after surgery. I got my revision rhinoplasty and I got my eyelid creases lowered. My eye muscles were also damaged in my previous double eyelid surgery, so my eye doctor did a muscle repair as well.
Guys, this looks so painful. And she said she was getting revision surgery, meaning that this is not her first time. So I can't even imagine going through this multiple times, let alone once. Like this looks really traumatic.
So yeah, moral of the story, plastic surgery is a huge deal and should not be taken lightly. Do your research, watch my videos, learn from my mistakes.
Okay, the most alarming thing I find in this video is that she couldn't breathe, right? And I always say if it doesn't need fixing, leave it alone because things can go wrong in surgeries. The chances may be low, but never zero. And luckily she can afford to get it redone and fix her breathing problem. But guys, imagine if you didn't have the resources to redo it and now you lost the ability to breathe out of your nose just because you wanted to look prettier. And yes, she is right. Surgery is a very big deal and should not be taken lightly. Thank you for saying that.
Okay, this is the part 3 to my failed rhinoplasty journey. This nose is not the nose that I'm complaining about. I got it redone. I don't really want to speak about him. But if you do DM me the clinic that you are interested in, I can tell you yes or no if it is that clinic or not. It's been around a month getting my nose job and the doctor was just really dodgy. He was not taking care of me. He barely tried to see me and just like his attitude, I have totally given up getting any care from him, like any aftercare from him, because it was quite obvious to me that my nose was tilted and there was a huge bump over here. And obviously it's been only a month that I got the nose job done, so I couldn't really like completely complain just yet. I was like, okay, I need to at least give it like 6 months to even consider getting my nose redone. I'm gonna insert photos here. I think I mentioned that after a month of my rhinoplasty, I wanted to go to a Paris trip. Rhinoplasty really is a life altering surgery, because imagine it's like the center of your face and your nose is literally what sculpts your entire face. I feel like a millimeter change could change your entire image.
I don't know. I think her side profile looks great here. I don't see anything droopy.
I think the most like frustrating part was that I could not breathe. Like I could immediately tell that my nose had breathing problems. My entire right side of my nose, I couldn't breathe at all. 2 months that I've gotten my rhinoplasty done and nothing was getting better. And if anything, the swelling was going down, down, down. I can more vividly see that my nose was entirely tilted. Obviously, no surgeries could go perfect the way you want it to be. For the longest time, I really was in a depressed mood. Like I didn't even want to think about my face. I barely went out, and it's a miracle that I even went to this Paris trip, and I literally spent like 2 weeks roaming around, like hating my entire face. My whole attitude changed. I barely wanted to go out. I was just like not a happy person. I honestly still did not hear anything back from my first doctor. I did not sue him then. I am now actually, because his clinic has been sued multiple times apparently, and I've been contacted by someone that I should as well. I'll update that on later. Definitely other ways than surgery to make yourself feel better and feel confident. Surgery is not the ultimate solution, and rhinoplasty is really a big deal. And now looking back, like how it has impacted my life, it's insane.
Guys, her doctor did not give a fuck. Some of you, understandably, put way too much trust and faith into these aestheticians, these professionals, just because they're a professional. That just means that they finished the course, they got certification, they can do the thing, okay? Just because they're professional doesn't mean that they don't make mistakes. Humans make mistakes. Even if the chance is small that it could happen, that something can go wrong, there's still a chance. Or maybe you're unlucky like this girl, and maybe they're lazy worker, they don't have your best interests at heart, they just don't care about you. They just want to take your money and don't care if they do a sloppy job. Like there are people out there like that too, and you just don't know. It's a gamble. It could go right, it could go wrong. And I think a lot of people might rush into things without doing a whole lot of research, because so much of the algorithm, like 90% of the videos I see online is just glow up and successful procedures, successful surgeries.
I turned down a girl today who was seeking a rhinoplasty because she wanted a very subtle result. She was bothered by 2 very little things that honestly were so subtle that I could barely see them on her own photos until I kind of looked at all of the different views and I was like, oh, okay. And then when I went in to talk to her, she did explain that overall she was happy with how her nose looked from the front, even all the way from the side, but she just felt like it was asymmetric when she looked from like one side versus the other. Not unusual. However, I did have to have a serious talk with her that I was like, I personally cannot advise you to do a rhinoplasty because I don't think this is going to be worth it for you. And the reason why is there is only so much that a surgeon can control during time of surgery in the operating room. After that, it's kind of like, I don't know, your nose is going to do what it wants to do, your body's going to do what it wants to do. And all surgeons know that. That's why we tell people, especially for rhinoplasties, which is considered one of the harder surgeries to control in plastic surgery, that they should expect improvement, not perfection. When you are trying to do so subtle of a change without changing anything else, that can be really difficult to control, because I can't guarantee that, for example, if I reduce the hump on one side, that it doesn't then get over reduced compared to the other. And people want super, super subtle results. We kind of really have to have that long discussion about, okay, but at what cost? Are you willing to trade what you currently have for something that might not exactly be what you currently have, but it at least addresses what you're bothered by? Like basically, like, are you bothered by this enough that you're willing to trade what is already good about your nose for something that may not be good anymore?
She's a good person, y'all. Because like I said, like some people don't give a they'll just take your money and just do whatever on your face, right? Even if they can't guarantee you anything. But she's like, hey, I don't know if I can give you exactly what you want. Hey, I don't know if this is worth the risk. My professional advice is maybe you shouldn't. So that's very nice of her, but not all surgeons are looking out for you like that. They rather just take your money and call it a day. She said it herself, like these things are hard to control because you just don't know how the human body is going to heal. And another factor is that our faces will change over time. So I made a post recently that showed a picture of myself as a kid when I was 12, and I had people in the comments swearing up and down that I got plastic surgery done, which is flattering, okay, don't get me wrong, but mostly it just kind of pissed me off because you're telling me plastic surgery is so common now that people expect me to look exactly like when I was a 12-year-old child, when I am now 28-year-old adult. And if I don't look the exact same, it's probably because I got surgery done and not because the pictures were taken 16 years apart during my most developmental years. Okay, some context though. Specifically, this post was to promote my friend's new makeup and photography studio. So it was supposed to have that type of shock value to showcase how amazing her makeup skills are. But it's also just mind-boggling to me that people don't think that your face will ever change, especially with 15 plus years apart. And in another 15 years, my face will probably change a lot more and look very different from now. And that just adds another layer to, like, you don't know how, if you alter your face, how that's going to look 10, 15, 20 years into the future. If those altered features will still be harmonious with how our body decides to age. And now plastic surgery is also so prolific that clinics have spawned on every block. It's so convenient to just walk in and book an appointment. I could probably just go outside. I live in a very residential area. I could probably just step outside and walk for maybe, I don't know how long it takes me to get to a 7-Eleven. An hour? I could walk 1 hour. I will probably find an aesthetic clinic walking 1 hour because it's just that common now. They're really everywhere.
As a lot of you guys may know, I did get plastic surgery in Korea, and one of the
Wait, this is paid partnership TikTok. Just so we all know, she was sponsored to make this video. Okay, let's see.
most common questions that I received was how I found my plastic surgeons and plastic surgery clinics. So I will be showing you guys today exactly how I found my Korean plastic surgery clinics and surgeons. So the first thing you're gonna need is this app called Onni. It's one of the most commonly used apps in Korea for people to find plastic surgeons, plastic surgery clinics, skincare clinics, anything beauty related. But this app is foreigner friendly, so even if you don't speak Korean, you can still use this app and find anything that you want. So I went on the app and then I just looked at all the different clinics, all the different doctors, and all these different reviews that people have left. So this is what the app looks like once you get in. You can also choose different locations. I specifically stayed within Seoul. You can also browse by different
categories is crazy, bro. Why does this kind of look like my Uber Eats app? This is like browsing for different cuisines. You're telling me it's this efficient, it's this streamlined, this easy to just find and book an appointment just like that.
Categories. And for example, once you pick eye surgery, you can see all these different clinics and events that they're having along with all the prices. What I also did was I went to reviews and just looked at everybody's reviews, and any reviews that I liked, I would favorite it and save them. So this is the hospital that I ended up choosing for my eyes. You can also see all the doctors that are working there. This clinic only had one doctor.
I think I've seen enough. This is crazy. Bro, this is like online shopping for plastic surgery. Who would have thought? We are really in the future, you guys. And this is really scary because it's a little too efficient for my liking. Why is online shopping such a bad thing? It's because it facilitates a lot of impulse shopping. People buy a lot of stuff they don't need from Amazon because it's just so easy. It takes 2 seconds to buy something. You know, you don't really have to think about it and it's already shipping. It's already on its way. And now you're telling me you can do that for plastic surgery? I've mentioned before that a lot of companies market in a way that pokes at our emotions to make quick split-second impulse decisions. Like, why do you think TikTok Shop is so efficient and you can have something already on its way shipping to your house in so few clicks? Because if you had to stop scrolling scrolling, close TikTok, open your browser, Google, do a bit of research on the product, you might change your mind in just, a matter of couple seconds. Or you might be too lazy to even open your browser. So they fixed that problem by just making 2 buttons and you can buy something. It's less work. It's easier for you to shop, to spend money. You can literally have an intrusive thought while scrolling like, should I get plastic surgery? And then in the same second, already book an appointment. Is this not a little bit crazy, you guys? Shopping for permanent body altering procedures on a little app like it's your Uber Eats lunch.
Here's what happened to my nose since everybody's so concerned and you guys are new here, so here it is. So back when I was a K-pop trainee, they take you to the plastic surgery clinic, they let you see a doctor and they're like, okay, what can we fix to make you look pretty for your debut? So I was training with this girl group and we all went to the doctors basically. So at the doctors, they recommended that I get a nose revision. I will post a photo of what I used to look like. This is literally me in high school. Oh my God. I don't know what's with the makeup, but yeah. This was me with the rhinoplasty after. So 6 years into the rhinoplasty, all of a sudden my body wanted to push out the silicone that was right here. And my body was just like, you know what, it's a foreign substance, like I want to push it out. So it started to literally push out the silicone out from my nose. And one day I was like constantly picking my nose because I was like, what is that? And I went to the doctors to Korea like a year later and they're like, oh, that's your silicone. Your body's like literally pushing it out. Which meant that my body did not want anything foreign and it was rejecting it. Crazy how our body works. So basically I had to desurgerize, like I had to take out the silicone that's been in my nose for 6 years. And obviously it's been 6 years, your nose has been like changed. Although I'm taking the silicone out and there's nothing fake in my nose anymore, it's still like affected and it became lopsided. Doctor said that I could not get any nose revisions until 6 months after because your nose is healing. Technically still went under and pulled it out. And that already was like 4 years ago. And I've been contemplating, should I get a nose revision? And I went to the clinic last year to get a consultation. And basically they were like, oh, you should take your rib bone out so that you could like make a higher nose bridge. And I'm like, I don't want to do anything complicated. I just want to go back to where I was and I don't want to use the silicone because my body's going to reject it, blah, blah, blah. I want to do skin grafting and things like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's just so complicated. And I don't know, like, should I get a nose revision? There's so many people that are commenting and obviously it's lopsided. It doesn't bother me that much. And the fact that you can go through another surgery and who knows what you're going to look like. And maybe you need another revision, maybe another complication. Like, I don't know if I want to take that risk. So I don't know, you guys. I'm being bullied for my nose, so I mean, still in the back of my head if I should get a revision or not. Maybe it's better to get it done now when you're younger versus later in life. But I don't know why it doesn't bother me as much. I just accepted my life as is. And yes, I could be prettier and more symmetrical and not be bullied through all these comments. But it's still in the back of my head, if I want to get it done or not. But I guess because I love myself, it doesn't really bother me as much. Although I get a lot of these comments.
You don't really see anyone really talking about this either, that you can get adverse reactions many years after the fact. And I hate that she's getting bullied for this. Like, I know how the internet is. The comments can be so horrible for no reason, especially TikTok. Like, TikTok is a bullying app, okay? Let's be honest. I personally think she looks fine. I wouldn't have noticed the nose until she pointed it out. And I think she's still very cute and has a really pretty nose. Even if it's lopsided, it's still a nice nose. And I'm happy to see someone say online, hey, I could be prettier, but I also accept how I look right now. All of this is a little bit heavy. So now what? What can we do about this? And obviously the point of the video is not to police women, their appearance, to shame them for what they decide to do or not to do. As you can obviously tell, I myself am a big enjoyer of getting my nails done, makeup, beauty. Who am I to say what's right and what's wrong? I'm just as subscribed to the system as anyone else is. All I'm saying is that I just think things things are getting a little bit crazy, a little bit out of hand, especially with social media amplifying this on us. Because if something as extreme as plastic surgery, as dangerous and serious as it is, has made its way to the masses and is now just a casual talking point, that's kind of scary. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, but I noticed a lot of my girlfriends or girls that I just met will talk about this so casually, like, oh, like, have you ever gotten anything done before? Do you want to get anything done? It's literally as casual as asking what my favorite color is, except I don't think anyone has ever even asked me what my favorite color is, but I've definitely been asked way more times if I've ever gotten anything done. And so I'm not saying to resist the system by never wearing any makeup again, or that people should or shouldn't get procedures, or even to pretend like appearance and how you look doesn't matter, because it does, let's be real. But instead, to recognize how lucrative it is for the beauty industry to capitalize on your insecurity. Acknowledge that these systems are very strongly in place and probably won't be going away anytime soon, but it can only get into your head if you let it. And I think it would be helpful to evaluate our own feelings, whether we place a lot of our self-worth onto our appearance. I know I sure did growing up, and I think that's why I was so scared of aging and becoming old. But just think about the older women in your life, your mom, your grandma, your aunt. Do you love them any less because they got old and they're not conventionally pretty anymore? Are they worthless? Do they no longer deserve a happy life? I feel like the answer is quite obvious, so I don't know why we're so hard on ourselves and why we even feel that way. Like, I do not know why. Being normal and average looking is so hated and like almost treated like an insult, because there's absolutely nothing wrong with being normal and average, you guys. If anything, I find it very peaceful to be average and normal. And if you are a big beauty enjoyer like myself, I find that it's much more enriching to enjoy all the beauty in the world and not just people's physical appearance. There's fashion, there's art, there's beauty in nature, in my dog's simplistic love, relationship. There are a million other things you can put so much more effort and attention into that are way more meaningful and fulfilling than nitpicking at the face that your parents gifted, raised, and loved. That's everything I have for you guys today. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see more girl talk videos like these. I'm also experimenting with my channel, and I'm gonna be posting some vlogs and sharing more of my life here. Feel free to ignore my vlog videos if it's not your cup of tea, but I am challenging myself to care less about how I look, and that's part of the reason I'm doing my new series of raw and authentic vlogs where nothing is staged. I show you guys my messy house and how disheveled I look in the morning, things like that. Like, I'm just sick of seeing like aesthetic everything on the internet because it makes me feel insecure and like my life is not that good because it's not very aesthetic. This is just like a random idea that popped into my head, and I just decided to say fuck it and just try it out, see what happens, because maybe there are other people out there who are like me and also don't have a super expensive, luxury, beautiful home. And of course, I do feel embarrassed to put myself out there like that. And I know there will be people who will probably laugh at me, but I also think some people might find it comforting or relatable. And that's enough for me. I'm willing to try. So yeah, if you want to see some content like that, let me know. Stick around. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think about this topic, or if there's anything you would like me to talk about next. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!